The research vessel hung in orbit above Earth, its obsidian hull absorbing the pale light of the distant sun. Inside the xenobiology laboratory, Dr. Krell adjusted his optical sensors and peered through the observation portal at the human specimen below. The subject was 73 years old by Earth reckoning, with weathered skin that folded like ancient parchment and hair the color of winter clouds. His name was Robert Hayes, a retired construction worker from a place called Montana. He had volunteered for the Cultural Exchange Program 6 months prior, believing he would spend his twilight years teaching aliens about human carpentry. Instead, he had become the most studied organism in the entire galactic consortium. Krell's communication implant buzzed with an incoming message from his supervisor, Director Venn. The text scrolled across his vision in luminescent script. "Have you completed the cellular analysis?" Krell manipulated his data tablet with 3 of his 7 fingers. "The results are unprecedented. His regenerative capacity exceeds our projections by 40%. The muscular density measurements suggest he could survive gravitational forces up to 8 times his planetary norm. Impossible. He is elderly by their standards. Director, I have verified the data 17 times. This specimen maintains bone density levels comparable to our own military caste. His cardiovascular system shows minimal degradation despite 7 decades of operation." Below in the observation chamber, Robert completed another set of what humans called push-ups. Krell watched as the old man lowered and raised his body weight 50 times without apparent strain. The monitoring equipment registered elevated respiration and increased blood flow, but nothing approaching system failure. When the exercise concluded, Robert stood and wiped moisture from his forehead with a cloth. He noticed Krell watching and offered a gesture the research team had learned meant friendliness among humans, a raising of the corners of the mouth. Exposing teeth, Krell's translator implant activated as Robert spoke. "You folks getting good data up there?" "Affirmative," Krell responded through the communication system. "Your physiological readings continue to challenge our understanding of senescent biology." Robert laughed, a vocalization that the translator struggled to interpret, but which conveyed amusement. "Doc, I'm just an old guy who doesn't want to turn into a puddle." Back home, we had a saying, "Use it or lose it." The translator required several seconds to parse the idiom. Krell made a notation in his research file about the human tendency toward metaphorical communication. Director Venn materialized in the laboratory via holographic projection, her form shimmering with blue energy. She was a member of the Velcrin species, tall and angular, with crystalline protrusions along her spine that denoted high rank. "Dr. Krell, the Consortium Council has reviewed your preliminary findings. They are requesting a full genetic sequencing and reproductive viability assessment." Krell's ocular membranes dilated in surprise. "Director, the subject is beyond his species' typical breeding age by at least 2 decades, which makes the data even more valuable. If human genetics maintain reproductive functionality this long past maturity, it suggests an evolutionary advantage we have not encountered in any of the 47 species currently cataloged." Robert had been provided with a translation device that allowed him to follow their conversation. His voice crackled through the speakers. "Hold on now. Are you talking about what I think you're talking about?" Venn's holographic form turned toward the observation chamber. "Mr. Hayes, the consortium is interested in understanding the full scope of human biological resilience. Your species has only recently achieved interstellar contact, yet your physical specifications rival those of civilizations that have been spacefaring for millennia. Lady, I'm flattered, but I'm old enough to be a great-grandfather 3 times over." "Precisely our point," Krell interjected. "In Velcrin biology, reproductive capacity ceases at approximately 40% of total lifespan. For my own species, the Thornid, it ends even earlier. Yet you maintain viability well beyond what our models predicted possible. Robert sat down on the bench provided in his quarters, his expression thoughtful. So what exactly are you proposing? Ven's crystalline protrusions shifted, reflecting light in patterns that indicated diplomatic mode. The consortium operates a genetic preservation archive. We collect samples from promising species to ensure biodiversity across the galaxy. Your particular genetic profile demonstrates remarkable adaptive traits. You want my DNA. We want to understand why a member of your species can maintain such physical capability at an advanced age. Krell clarified. The implications for longevity research across multiple civilizations are substantial. The old man stood and walked to the transparent barrier that separated his living space from the laboratory. His movements were steady, joints functioning with mechanical precision that belied his age. Krell's sensors registered minimal inflammatory markers in the subject's blood chemistry. Back on Earth, Robert said slowly, I worked construction for 50 years. Built bridges, schools, hospitals. Used my hands and my back every single day. My father lived to 92, still splitting firewood the month before he died. His father made it to 87, working his ranch until the very end. Krell recorded every word, cross-referencing the information with human genealogical databases. Your family lineage demonstrates consistent longevity patterns, combined with sustained physical labor throughout the lifespan. This suggests both genetic and environmental factors contribute to your resilience. My wife passed 10 years back, Robert continued, his voice carrying a weight that the translator flagged as emotional content. We had 4 kids, 11 grandkids, and 6 great-grandkids at last count. Every single one of them healthy as horses. Ven's holographic eyes brightened with interest. Your genetic line has already proliferated successfully within your population. This makes you an ideal candidate for our study. The Council is prepared to offer substantial compensation. Not interested in money, Robert said flatly. But I'll tell you what. I'll give you your samples, your studies, whatever you need. On one condition. Krell and Ven exchanged what humans would recognize as a surprised glance. Consortium research subjects rarely attempted to negotiate terms. Name your requirement, Ven stated. I want to know what you find. All of it. And I want you to share it with Earth's medical community. My people are just starting to figure out space travel, but we've got problems back home. Disease, aging, all kinds of things that could use help from folks who've been doing this longer. The director's crystalline features arrange themselves into what her species used to convey respect. Your terms are acceptable. The consortium values collaborative research. We will provide full transparency regarding our findings and establish knowledge-sharing protocols with Earth's scientific institutions. Over the following weeks, Krell conducted the most comprehensive biological study of his career. Robert's cells displayed telomere lengths that suggested he was decades younger than his chronological age. His mitochondrial function operated at efficiency levels typically seen in human subjects in their 30s. Most remarkably, his reproductive cells showed minimal genetic degradation. It defies conventional models, Krell explained during a presentation to the Consortium Council. Human biology appears to have evolved under conditions that selected for extended functional longevity. Their homeworld's variable climate, diverse pathogen exposure, and complex social structures created evolutionary pressure for organisms that could remain productive across extended lifespans. One of the council members, a gaseous entity named 4, who communicated through modulated light patterns, flickered a question. What practical applications does this research suggest? Multiple civilizations struggle with age-related cellular decay, Krell responded. The human approach to aging combining genetic resilience with sustained physical activity offers a potential framework for extending productive lifespans across species. Additionally, their reproductive longevity could inform fertility treatments for populations experiencing demographic decline. Director Venn added her assessment. The humans call their species Homo sapiens, meaning wise man. Perhaps we should consider them Homo durabilis, durable man. Their ability to maintain functionality across such extended periods while producing viable offspring represents a significant evolutionary achievement. Robert Hayes stood before the council via holographic transmission from the research vessel. Despite months of intensive study, he appeared unchanged, still upright, still clear-eyed, still capable. Mr. Hayes, Venn addressed him formally. The consortium recognizes that your genetic profile represents valuable biological data. Your contribution to our understanding of senescent physiology has been substantial. The Council wishes to honor you with the designation of Genetic Heritage Exemplar. Robert's weathered face creased into that characteristic human smile. I appreciate that, Director. But I'm just a guy who stayed busy and ate his vegetables. Nothing special. Krell felt compelled to correct him. On the contrary, Mr. Hayes, your existence challenges our fundamental assumptions about biological. If you enjoyed this video, consider supporting us with super thanks. Your support helps us create more great content. Thank you.